Retro anime. How did we find it? How does it hold up? Unpacking the ins and outs of being an old school nerd and proving that 80s kids can't remember a damn thing right. These are the mindless midlife musings of the anime nerd.
Welcome to Mindless Midlife Musings of the Anime Nerd. I'm Rick, and I'm joined by the rest of our panel, Vic, Brian, and Lynette. Hey, everyone.
Hello.
Hey guys, well,
Hi.
I got a quick before you start. I have a suggestion.
Here.
I have a lot of notes, and I'm afraid that some of these notes are going to overlap, which is pretty typical. So I would like to play note bingo. See if there's anything on my notes, or if anybody else does, if we all have that one, to see. Does that make sense?
You know what? You know what we're gonna do, Brian? I'm gonna let you drive this show. I'm gonna get through my intro, and you're gonna drive this ship today. That's what we're doing. All right.
No.
Oh no,
wait.
that's it. It's already gone. Here we go.
We're
The ship has sailed. You better grab the wheel.
You done screwed by opening your mouth.
Today we venture into the Shikima Realm and master our Ninjitsu as we battle our way through the supernatural erotic martial arts comedy La Blue Girl. A lewd beast academy, also The Blue Girl, also known as La Blue Girl here in the West, is a 92-93 erotic anime based on the manga series by Toshio Maeda of Doji fame, which kind of tracked. It's a humorous hentai series that follows the exploits of a young ninja girl, Miko Mido, as she battles sex-hungry demons and the like. Miko is a young ninja in training and the next leader of the Moroku Ninja Clan. This clan apparently has control over the demon realm, the Shikima, a perverted race of demons led by Miko's biological father. The resemblance is uncanny. However, when thieves steal the magic compact symbol button thing, signet, that's what we're going with. It grants them power over the Shikima clan, and Miko has to fight the Shikima, utilizing her sex craft ninjutsu in order to save the world, essentially.
And no, you did not screw that one up.
So yeah, this is an infamous anime. This is an infamous anime.
Infamy. Infamy.
This
And
is
it's hilarious because in the 90s, it's like most people, their first hentai was either Yurasoki Doji or La Blue Girl.
right, and this was like mail order only porn. Like you wanted to get this, it was in a catalog.
Mail order and ordered by mails.
It is unique in that regard. It became so infamous because of that. And every teenage boy was trying their damnedest to get a hold of this thing, and it was again, like Vic said, this and Urotsuki Doji, those were the twins. Those were the peaks of hentai at the time, and this gained a lot of notoriety and infamy for what it was, unabashedly porn. It's very much. It is worth noting, interestingly enough, that both versions of the film the series are censored in various ways. The Japanese version doing its usual mosaic, because Lord knows the Japanese don't want to know what genitals look like, so we're going to blur those out with mosaics. And then here in the States, we didn't have mosaics, but they got rid of all of Nin sex, the little ninja partner, because apparently he skewed a little too young, and they were worried about, that being an issue here in the States.
So
Despite the fact that Miko was 16.
Right, but not here. Here she was a college student. When she came out here in the States, they upped her age, and they cut all of Nin's sex. So apparently Nin does get some action, but the American version, you never see it.
Huh.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Well,
yeah, that was fascinating for me to find out as well.
Well, guess what? That is actually not on my The Blue Girl bingo.
Well, there you
Huh.
go. All right, so we're off to a good start.
We're off to a good start. Well, damn.
Yeah. So
I
this
think you just blew everyone away with that.
it's obviously an immensely successful series. Guys, there are several OVAs for this. There's comic book adaptations, freaking live action movies in Japan, PC games, art books. Like this is arguably this and Yurotsuki Doji, arguably the most popular hentai anime of all time. So yeah,
Wow.
it was very fascinating to find out that even here in the States, we couldn't just let that shit go. They were afraid of hebephilia, like. So anyway, they edited Nin's sex acts out.
So
Anyway,
Now,
that's
it's funny that you brought that up because there are sequences I recall, but I didn't see recently.
yeah, it depends on which version you saw. If you saw the original Japanese, at any point with the mosaics, Nin would have gotten some action.
that's where they drew the line.
Yeah, that was their line. Of all the shit that happens in this anime, that was their line in the sand. It is, yeah. So at this point, Brian, I'm gonna hand the reins over to you now. Now you can take this ship and take us through these episodes because I guarantee you have more notes than I do. Because I wasn't as thorough with my notes this time because I knew we'd be painting with a broader brush because there was like so many episodes.
Oh,
So,
sweet Jesus.
So let's do this. Go. Brian's like, I'm not ready.
Look, if we're gonna do this, I need to go ahead and make a couple of disclaimers first. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I do not have the dulcet tone of our leader, so I want to go ahead and apologize. I'm going to have a lisp, so deal with it. That's the first one. Second, I'll start off with I actually have a note in here, and I'm going to take this time to just go ahead and say this note out loud. Oh, poor Lynette.
Facts. This, I'm sure. Now, Lynette, had you ever seen The Blue Girl before?
No.
Had you
I've never
heard about it?
No, never heard of it.
Oh, so you were absolutely fresh to this. Oh my God, I feel like we really
totally-
should have prepped you.
Totally. I do have to say that they really scared me with the pubic hair needle gun.
So let's start there.
I was like,
Ladies,
what? She's constant. What? Okay. How many poor boys got scared when they ran up against a non-Brazilian hoo-ha?
Oh man, we definitely did not prep you properly for this.
There was no KY given to Lynette.
Their meeting for that Porga. I just watched that. I was like,
there's so much in this. This anime, I enjoy the fact that it's so in your face absurd. Like it knows exactly from the start what it is. And it has no bones about being upfront about its absurdity and the silliness of what we're gonna do right now. And they're like, here you go. This is how this is starting.
Yeah, this is and there's no other word to say. It's absurd the way they start off.
well, they take a lot of things very literal too, like literally one-eyed snake. Literal. It's literal. She was attacked by a one-eyed snake. Maybe two.
Maybe two. So,
and
the
they
first
literally
scene
had
starts off.
eyes. One eye. Literally had one eye.
It blinked.
Ooh, real quick. So apparently
Yeah.
the initial VHS release actually was totally uncensored in the US.
Okay. All right. Quick fact check from Vic. Love it. Okay, so the OG, so the ones we saw back then were totally uncensored.
Which is why I recalled scenes that I didn't see in the one that we just saw recently.
Makes sense. All
Are
right.
we going to have to in year 3? Are we going to have to go back and get the what are we going to do? I mean, what do we do?
I don't know, man.
I
I'm
may
gonna
have one episode, but I don't have all 6.
I'll just have to, sail the 7 seas and gather a crew.
Yeah, I need to get Nin. Nin needs to get some. All right, so it starts off with try to world. Is that what they call it? World build.
Absolute world build. Yeah, world build. Yeah.
Well, Bill.
And they want you to know that in the land of Ninjitsu, right, the demons can fuck you. And
Oh,
you're
and you're
supposed
aerodynamic if you split your legs while you fly through the air. You go faster.
yeah.
Apparently.
And they also let you know that you're supposed to want to have sex, but at the same time you're not supposed to want to have sex. You're supposed to want to masturbate, but then at the same time get mad when people watch you masturbate.
Well,
Why are you crying with other people in the same room, Brian?
Huh? What happened?
Why are you trying to do that with other people in the same room?
Look, we're completely off the reservations of what planet Earth really is.
That is fair to say.
Yeah, so the rules of promiscuity are clearly out the window.
It is
Yeah.
It is interesting. Yeah, it is interesting to me that despite everything that happens in this anime, the character Miko still tries to have some semblance of demure about her. Like she's concerned about any of that. And it's like, oh, sweetie, that ship has sailed. Everyone and everything has seen and been in you. Like, it's over.
Look. You know, the thing about it is, she still considers herself a virgin.
Right.
Or at least, some level of dignity.
Look, she's still. We are jumping so far ahead.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yes.
We are jumping so far ahead on this one fact. After everything that happens to her, she still considers herself a virgin. I'm like, how?
It's a state of mind.
Well, by those standards, it's just she's never been with a human male.
She sort of was. In the battle of the what the hell, it was him, the other guy, girl.
I distinctly remember in episode 2.
Yes, and that was the battle of the what the hell is what.
That one didn't count for her.
Ranmaru, I wrote his name down, or her name, I don't know, their name down. Ranmaru
Ranmaru
was clearly equipped
both ways.
and did the deed. Both
right
went in both directions. It was very weird. That's what I said. Oh, it's the battle.
I'm sorry.
Bitch and cat caught, but not the whole thing.
You gotta take the shit back. We're gonna be here forever. We're gonna be here forever. Maybe one day it's way too much power. I'm not. Take the segment back. Take the segment back.
All right, so I will reluctantly do. You're gonna we'll co-host this one.
So, I'm definitely still gonna give you my bingo, but we're doomed.
So it's a 6-episode series that's technically 2 series, right? There's the 4 episodes there's like the 4 episodes, and then there's more episodes that are considered new La Blue Girl or something like that. But over here, it all just kind of came out as one big orgy. And
all right. So just want to make sure we saw 6 episodes.
We did. We watched 6 episodes, and in Japan, those are 2 separate series. And apparently, there's La Blue Girl, and then there's New La Blue Girl, which picks up the latter few episodes.
Last 3 episodes, or the last 2 episodes.
Right, the last 2 episodes. So it's the one the ones with Fubuki, that introduces Fubuki, the rival sex ninja, and I just want to. I'm gonna jump ahead on this one. The really weird fucking cyborg sex bot thing. Like, that episode was
you mean the Wish version of RoboCop?
Bingo, because I actually have hentai RoboCop.
Hentai RoboCop, very nice. Judges will allow it.
My plan is working.
All right.
I
So now,
actually
let's
ended
back up.
taking notes after episode
Really,
3.
I'm with you, Lynette. So episode 1 starts out it's a very simple premise. There are rival ninja clans, and instead of using actual martial arts skills or anything that resembles ninjitsu, they instead attack each other with sex.
Well,
And
they have 5 seconds of actual combat. It's like, okay, this isn't working. Time to bang.
Right, yeah. Let's go to our special techniques. They go right into the sex thing. So it's a very basic premise that then escalates into just more and more absurdity as you go. At its beginning state, you're like, okay, I've seen weird shit like this before. I've watched Balls of Fury where it was Enter the Dragon with ping pong. We can do ninjutsu with sex. This is fine. And then it escalates. This is not just ninjutsu with sex. Now it's ninjutsu with sex versus demons who have no ninjutsu. They're just demons that fuck. So
And actually, that's what the stick did. They didn't kill you. They fucked you to death.
That's right. They fucked you to KO. Like they didn't even like I don't recall very many people being fucked literally to death.
No.
They get fucked to defeat.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
That's the rule of the game.
Yes, that's the rule of the game. You have to make your opponent. You have to make your opponent finish, and whoever finishes first loses. So that's the game.
It's all about...
You don't have to kill anyone. You just have to bang them really well.
Yeah, not even bad about it. You're supposed to be trying to satisfy them.
Yeah. But you're aggressively doing it. Very aggressively doing it.
So, before we get to the bang section, she wakes up, right? The first thing you do, you see her getting out of bed, and
Absolutely.
I said it's about time they put some effort into clothes physics. When you sleep, they wander, and they actually showed a very good wandering in that.
They did. Actually, to comment on the artwork in general, it is highly inconsistent. There are some scenes that look like they could have been part of Urotsuki Doji, and there are some scenes that look like they could have been part of Sailor Moon. Like, there's very different gamut.
Sequences were really well done. Others are, and some were just bad.
Proportions were
Proportions. So it is interesting,
head,
but
big shoulders. It was very weird for some of them.
It is. It's very cartoony, and they lean into that. Obviously, they've obviously leaned into it, this whole thing. But yeah, you're right, dude. She wakes up and she's very like, it's very much a almost normal wake up, except for lack of bedhead.
Like that. Except for lack of bed. Okay, we have some type of solid footing, some realm of reality. We should be good.
Yeah, that's the very beginning. Is quite possibly the most normal sequence in the entire series.
I think it might be my favorite, but it's so stupid. Her trying to use her ninjutsu to get to school.
Yes, that's what I was talking about. It was like, why is she doing the splits while flying through the air? That doesn't really make you go faster. And then I saw the camera angle, and I was like, "Oh, that's why she's doing this."
Oh yeah, that makes all the sense in the world now.
It's all about the camera angles,
and the stick that flew when she landed upside down, perfect aim, so that she doesn't accidentally do something dangerous.
We certainly wouldn't want that.
And the poor principal questioning reality when she swung by.
Now she thinks she's if I'm not wrong, she thinks she's just a regular ninja at the start of this. She's under the impression that she's a regular ninja, and then Grandma tells her, no, you're a fuck ninja. Right? Is it? Am I remembering that correctly?
Oh, no, she's always known.
So she's known from the start.
Her grandmother trained her in the art.
I don't think she knew about the demon part.
I don't think she realized that she's the head of the clan.
Oh, okay. It's been a hot minute. Okay, makes sense. She then goes on. it's such a wild ride.
And it feels like we're still on the roller coaster of eroticism. We are still climbing. The tick, 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 tick.
Unintended.
Yeah.
Yeah, she so like this whole first episode's the world building episode and establishes who she is, what she does, yada yada yada. But she gets attacked. It's the best way I can I can talk. And I know I'm jumping around, guys, so just bear with me. But she gets attacked, and this is where you get your first real understanding of what it is to be a sex ninja. With Lynette's favorite moment, where she summons her will because her combat skills weren't working, so she summons her secret ninjitsu to solidify her pubic hair and launch it into the face of her aggressor.
Not only solidified, she grew them.
This is true. Because they
she
didn't
had
animate
none.
any pubic hair on this.
No.
She's Brazilian down there. And then all of a sudden a forest sprouts.
She
Just
lets
into
the
the air.
forest reclaim the land, and then ninja spikes. She burned gullies in the guy's face.
It's amazing. That's the best way you could possibly describe it.
It was,
And then
I
shit
had to
just
stop
kind of
it and be like,
I was gonna go with
Lift up.
hentai anima.
oh my gosh.
I had to sit there and be like, really? Okay.
I just can't even with this.
Yeah.
Then shit goes full demon. Then shit
Yeah.
just goes
Yeah.
it goes full demon. And then
Yeah.
we enter the realm of the tentacles.
Oh, how does she enter the realm though?
Yes.
There's a very specific thing she has to do.
She
What
she
is
does.
it?
She
Yeah.
yeah.
She has to drink the sperm of a virgin or drink a highly potent aphrodisiac, point her hoo-ha north, and continue to go down the rabbit hole of monster dongs. That's how it goes.
So wow.
That is
is
the best description ever. I love it.
Go through the, you know.
Yeah.
She said. I
gotta-
just want to make sure. She said the rabbit hole of monster dong, right?
that is correct. Yes. This is going to be the most fun episode. Yeah, she's got a diddle. She's got a diddle to get where she needs to go. Yeah.
No daddle. You got to doodle.
No,
daddle.
got a diddle. No daddle. And she manages to get to the demon realm. Now her grandmother takes a pretty bad beating on this one.
Yeah.
And before she has to find her way down to the demon realm. And I'm assuming it's down because she seems to like fall. I don't know. Parallel dimension. I don't know. The point is she always falls into the demon realm. She doesn't just like ever walk in. She's always falling.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm assuming it's like a Hollow Earth thing.
Yeah, Hollow Earth. Holy shit. Don't you bring Godzilla into this. Godzilla kick off.
so
Okay.
Monarch,
Fauna.
they're going to investigate this because it's all part of Hollow Earth. Anyway, so
I did
Ding
not
dong.
get, I did not get that Godzilla movie.
so yeah, she gets down there and she just has to, dude. There's so much fucking in this. There's so much fucking in this.
But I'm gonna ask some important questions.
Yeah,
I have two so far.
great.
First things first, they have glasses down in the underworld.
They do.
Yes.
Who the hell's the optometrist?
You
No one
don't
I
want
think.
to know.
Well,
Does he have the,
That tentacle with that giant eyeball that you saw earlier on? That's the
yeah.
optometrist.
Doc Ock.
which brings me to my second point. If you have multiple dicks, right? Is there an order of operation of which one goes first, or is it like a caterpillar? If you ask the caterpillar how to walk, it can't walk.
So to rope this into my Hollow Earth analogy from before, it's like Ghidorah from Godzilla. You know, there's three of them, but one of them's in charge, and then there's the other one who's like the aggro one, and then there's Kevin, the idiot, the one that's always trailing behind. So that's literally its name, Brian. I didn't make it up.
I know.
So obviously there's a lead penis, and then there's the aggressive one, and then there's the idiot.
Yeah. In this entire, I had high hopes of this being a, I don't know, romantic thing that me and my wife could watch together.
Wow.
Why would you think that?
It's been a hot minute since you watched this, huh?
Yeah. Brian did not get none that night, but
I can't imagine why.
but it got me thinking. Is the possibility of multiple dicks even remotely erotic?
So you naturally you asked. You brought it up as a conversation piece.
Yes, I did. Would you like to know the result of that?
Absolutely. I absolutely.
It could be sized up with nah.
Nah, that's the best. Yeah, I don't.
Think it was done more for shock value than anything.
Without a doubt, and a lot of these creatures, the demons in this, are absolutely hearkening back to and parodying their own other creation, Yuritsuki Doji, where in that they were trying to tell a far more serious story. In this, they just went full camp. But a lot of the same sorts of monster designs and the same sort of ideas about this absurd type of sex. It all harkens back to and parodies itself.
Like so in Yuritsuki Doji, like, take us serious.
Right.
And here they're like, we're just fucking around.
Yeah, Yuritsuki Doji was like, we're telling a very serious story. And then in The Blue Girl came out and they're like, you know what? That was our bad. You're right. This shit is silly. We're just gonna do silly now. Let's be silly.
Which brought me to my third.
Yeah.
I actually had another note. And this is we jumped a little, but this is when we're supposed to be talking about the whole one-eyed dick. Dick with the one eye.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
I could imagine that having eyes on a dick can lead to a massive pink eye.
Pink eye?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Especially if they do anal.
My whole thing is what is the point of the eyes?
Actually brought me to
He's
another
also a
point.
part-time gynecologist.
Right. But assuming, I don't mean to, I'm really regretting this now, but assuming that you have inserted eyeball penis into where it's supposed to go, there's fucking light in there. You're not seeing anything anyway.
Which brought me to my next point. They do a really good job of vaginal modeling, if you will.
All right.
Of trying to get the topography of where everything goes in there. So my question was, who was the model?
I think all Japanese.
That's
like,
really
What'd you say?
A fleshlight.
Fleshlight.
A fleshlight.
Man, I cannot say with any level of certainty, but I think there's probably
You know what it was? You know the little back, I don't know if they're still there, but they were like the little jelly roll thing that had the hole in the center and you rolled them around.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're
I
called.
forgot those things even existed.
Right.
yeah, what those were. Yes.
Where they look like sea cucumbers. And they had
That's right.
It was a cylinder with jelly.
It was perpetual. Yeah. No matter.
You could and it was. I don't know why adults would give children this toy because it was a toy.
Really don't.
And you could move it, squish it.
Oh yeah. Basically, all you could do was shake weight the thing.
Totally not appropriate.
That's basically all you could do.
Now
that was
another world building point is, have you noticed that the texture of the Shikima Realm feels like it mimics the texture of the inside of a vagina?
Does it seemed like, especially as the episodes went on, it was just rocky outcroppings. Like Just a cave. They lived in a cave. It was all caves.
I don't make the rules.
There was caves, and then there was like weirdly specific vagina illustrations that they had to like use candles to. Anyway, that's another episode.
That's another episode, and we forgot a very important plot point.
Yeah,
why she has to come to the Shikima Realm. It's not just a segment.
Why does she have to come to
rescue her sister?
She has to rescue her sister.
And how did her sister get caught? Because her sister wore the same panties that Nico had used previously to masturbate in, and because of her stitch, it turned.
They called it love juice. You have to use the right thing. It's the love juice.
And apparently the humans could smell it even after you wash the laundry.
I cannot even with this.
She took it out.
It is.
Yes, it was a case of mistaken full identity. I don't know. It was just
that's it. This is a good time to ask the question. Brian, did you watch it subbed or dubbed?
I actually did it subbed.
Did you? I watched it subbed as well because that's how I'd seen it originally.
I actually know. I could tell you. I actually did it for a reason now.
Yeah.
Because it's very possible that somebody was going to be hearing what I was watching.
100%.
And I needed to be able to say, "Yeah, I'm watching One Piece."
Well, we can't all go to a Wendy's and watch this like Lynette, so we had to stay in.
I did a Burger King this time, thank you. And,
that means I was going there anyways.
Yeah, and you have it your way, so that was how it was going.
Perfect.
Dude, she came ready on that one. She came ready.
I'm so proud of you. Oh my gosh, this fucking anime.
And we're still not through one episode yet.
It's fucking crazy. She does. She has to go save her sister who wore her panties that still had her musk on them, and she was taken. And
it was the
Miko. I had more questions about that, but they're just not questions I can ask. So I am going to ask them now, though. And that is, are sisters in the habit of sharing underwear?
No.
I would imagine not. I would imagine this isn't a common thing.
I would have no clue.
Yeah, right. Neither would I. I'm obviously not.
You have sisters.
I do.
I
do.
And sister. We don't have two sisters.
Oh, I have two, and I am.
But there was a huge age gap.
And I feel like, yeah, exactly. There was an enormous age gap between two of them. So in their situation, is a given that was never going to happen. However, I did not know for sure, and I had no intention of asking my sisters, even though one of them will undoubtedly hear this anyway. And I was fairly certain the answer was no anyway.
Can you be sure?
At this point, I just assume that everything that happens in this anime is the opposite of how it would happen. And they real semblance of anything. So yeah, all right, we gotta push forward. So she has her pubic needle hair technique, and she diddles her fiddle to get down into the demon realm to save her sister, and finds Shikima and Maria, the king and queen of the Shikima Realm,
and her parents,
which was something that was fascinating. And basically she fucks her way out of this,
but she's still a virgin. So she fucked her way out of it, and we're the absurdity of this whole thing. We don't have the time to talk about.
We really don't.
We really don't.
But we do. But we do. But we don't. Like, go ahead, B. Go ahead.
I just want to point out. So they basically get kicked out of hell.
Yeah.
Where she rescued her sister, and they land back in the land of Oz, and they're naked.
Right.
Perfectly. They're just walking around, la 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 la.
Perfectly fine.
Naked. I can't tell you how many times this actually happens to them on a recurring basis, where they wind up naked.
Yes, when they return. Yes, it's
and
every
they're
episode.
Totally cool with it. know what? I
Yeah.
will say body confidence, great. No body
Hey.
shaming, great. I mean,
most
the
of the
only
things were naked anyways.
yeah. The only thing that Ninden says is, "Are you guys going to put on clothes anytime soon?" That's
He
pretty
and
much.
he actually says the quiet part out loud
Yeah, he does do that
Uh-huh.
several
a
times.
lot, a lot.
Yeah. And honestly, guys, to the listeners, if you've never seen this, and you know how we are, we're gonna spoil as much of this as we possibly can. This episode, the first episode, sets the bar low because shit just gets crazier from here. Like you don't even needling pubic hair and clitoral penises notwithstanding, this gets even crazier.
Yeah,
That is
episode
an
3 was
understatement.
That episode scared me. Battle of the Clitoral thingy. That
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god.
there's actually a thing called tribbing, where two ladies they are supposed to actually.
Certainly.
Yeah, but it's still not dueling neo-nimbos.
Well,
Right.
I'm just saying
Right.
that it's all rooted in the physics of sex.
Fair. Fair.
It doesn't
Epis-
sound like this though. It does not sound like
No,
this.
I
At all.
imagine it doesn't sound like that. Episode 2 was fucking. It was just. Episode 2 was something else. Episode 2 was really everything that you thought you were comfortable with, you are uncomfortable with. Episode 2 took that shit and ramped it. They're like, we got you.
This harks back to our longtime listeners, to our first show. And our first show had told us that, listen, because of anime, we were exposed to so many things at an early age that we were like, okay, that's cool.
That absolutely.
This was the first time.
There's 12-year-olds should not have been watching some of this stuff.
This was absolutely the first time that I'd ever seen this. It's just this. I'm gesturing like you listeners can see. Gender bent ninjas. That's the best thing I can say. Gender bent ninjas. Look, Ranmaru is the quote unquote male antagonist in the second episode, and he has a ginger sister, and they are they're Suzuka clan ninjas, and they're
not
gonna
to be
go
confused with Suzuki.
That's right. No, because those are samurai. Anyway, the
You son of a bitch.
so the Suzuka ninja clan, they open a portal into the realm, and they're gonna go in and fuck some shit up, and they're pretty hyped about it. And Ranmaru is their leader. This green-haired ninja warrior, super, badass, right? And he ends up getting on with Miko's sister, which
Who comes back?
Who comes back, of course. And honestly, just as a sidebar, why is it that her sister never learned any of this? It's because she gave it away early, right? Is that what it was? Like she was a slut? Is that?
No, she was also half. She was half Suzuka.
Okay. So
She was
Ranmaru,
a half sister.
she was her half sister, so not a full.
Same
sister.
mother, different fathers.
Copy that. Okay.
At least according to the English subtitles.
No, it's I appreciate it because there's so much fucking in this. It's hard to keep pace with the plot. So the gender bent ninja, Ranmaru is identifies as male, clearly, based on his whole demeanor and his whole thing. Until late in the episode, after the Suzuka clan comes in and they're fucking shit up, and the sister is so horny. Just
He uses the sword.
she's so horny. I have that as a note. So Ranmaru is busy fucking Miko's sister, and the redhead whose name I did not bother to write down. She attacks Miko, and she gets the best of Miko. She gets Miko in a precarious position,
Which
where
everyone does.
right,
Yeah.
truly, Miko
Par for the course.
is the worst. Yeah. She gets Miko. Now I'm gonna try and paint this picture for you listeners. She is mounted foot to foot with Miko.
Miko on her
and
back.
Miko's on her back, and our,
Like an
our
acrobat
antagonist
getting ready to be launched.
and our antagonist is above her, and they're foot to foot, like she's gonna they're gonna kick off from each other, so to speak. Except there's a third thing holding up our ninja warrior, our ninja antagonist, and that is a fucking katana. The fucking katana has been inserted into her. And
Is
to
it a
Miko.
katana? Is it a katana or a ninja sword?
Ask Leonardo. So the sword is inserted
Is it
into the
curved or
female
straight?
protector. It's straight as far as I could tell.
Okay.
So it is inserted into the antagonist hilt first, and the bladed portion is going into Miko. Now you would think that
It
this
did.
would end in some sliced roast beef, but no, it did not.
The meat
It
curtains
was-
were protected. The
it
meat curtains were
was-
protected.
Apparently, they are so precise in their sex act that they can literally fuck you with a razor sharp katana blade. And this was a thing that she did. Because remember, guys, listeners, the whole point of this is to fuck your opponent into submission. And not even submission,
Any
just
move necessary.
fuck them until they come. And then you win.
Yes.
So apparently the sword technique was one of her moves. It didn't go her way. She actually didn't ultimately win that one.
I wonder
You
why.
know why?
George.
No. That's episode 3. Never mind. Hold on. I gotta hold that way.
So
But this brings up a good point.
Yeah.
Sword in the hoo-ha.
yes.
Right. She is a ninja who
Right.
practices around blades.
Yeah.
And this is up until now is the first time where it's revealed that she is actually half demon.
Right. Yeah, you like really.
Yeah. So you mean she never noticed the blue blood until right now?
Right then. No, maybe there's less oxygen in Hollow Earth. I don't know. Anyway, the point is
He's gonna say Hollow Earth.
the point is that at this point, so then Ranmaru shows up. The whole point was to talk about this Ranmaru character. Ranmaru shows up and decides he's going to take out Miko, because Miko does get the best of the redheaded antagonist, whose name again eludes me. Using her swollen clitoris, she bests her. And
Neo Nimbo.
yes, that's the one. Thank you. And so Ranmaru shows up and he's going to give her the business. And you find out Ranmaru is equipped with everything. Ranmaru has both sets of genitalia in completion. It is our first in the early 90s. I would argue probably our first exposure to the idea of a hermaphrodite. Like that was this. So yeah, anime just paving the way for everything, really.
Although the bindings would not have made watermelon chest so flat. They should have kept the proportions correct on the boobies there.
There should have been just a little more going on there.
Like
Like it went. Yeah.
When he tore off his shirt, I was like, yeah, bindings wouldn't have made that as flat. No,
Like you can get away with a lot with binding, but that was next level.
if you got
Anime
watermelon,
logic.
it's not gonna.
That's what I
flatten
say
that.
all the time.
Anime logic on that one for sure. So Miko then gets the best of our Ranmaru hermaphrodite ninja, as Miko does eventually get the best of everybody, because her fighting skills may suck, but apparently she's excellent and bad for a virgin.
But
Episode.
only when she's
I'm
on
just-
top. You ever notice when she's on the bottom, she loses?
Oh, that's it. You got to be on. Yeah, you got to be in control. I don't really have much else to say on this episode. This episode was an eye opener for me in the 90s, and it's still fascinating to this day.
completely forgotten about this because I have seen episode 1 and 2 before. I hadn't seen
Yeah.
anything else, but I
Okay.
completely forgotten about 2, and I'm like, oh, 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 oh. I was like, because they show Redhead and
Yeah.
Rikki Tikki Tavi going at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Rikki Tikki Tavi, once he finished, he's like, oh, I'm like, okay, there you go. And then when you saw Rikki Tikki Tavi have Long John Silver, I was like, oh
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
It's like a finding Finding Nemo moment when Dory going P-42 want to be way Sydney and everything flashbacks.
Right.
Same thing happened to me. And I was like, oh yes, I remember this. Oh shit.
I am going to say that this anime, for as absurd as it is, and the animation again is all over the place on this, there is an overarching story to this. There is a story here. It's just really kind of hard to pay much attention to it. But there is like this continuation of a saga that's happening here. Saga is a very strong word to describe this. But we're gonna move forward. Let's move on to the horny sword. Let's move on to episode 3. The horny sword is what I called episode 3. What can you say about this?
I actually have a lot to say, but please
do. No, please do, Brian. I yield my time to the distinguished gentleman.
So this actually got me a little bit of I don't know, self-reflection, if you will.
Okay.
How so?
All right, I was like,
wait, do we really want to know?
We do. Please
Okay.
continue.
Do you have a horny sword in your closet?
It's where you keep them, right? You gotta keep them in the closet.
and that's actually bingo on that note too. So yeah, I'm doing great. I'm doing. So I love the whole premise. If you lose if you make them climax.
Yeah.
If you climax first, you lose.
You lose.
And I wanted to say deep down, like maybe I am a ninja.
Because that's your goal too.
Yeah, it's not Naruto running.
No.
I'm using this as I'm going to make a whole ninja discipline about this without the tentacle rape, and I'm going to practice it.
Horny sword and all.
Right. And so instead of Shogunite, I'm going to call it Show You Right. Show You Right.
Oh my gosh. Lord, the antagonists in this episode, in episode 3, are Kamiri and Kagutsman. I don't know. KK Slider.
You did do a lot of sliding.
Semen.
Oh yeah, of course it is.
It's semen. I took a little bit of liberation.
And he's obsessed with Kamiri. He's her ward. He is absolutely like smitten with her, and she's smitten with her sword. That's it. She's absolutely smitten with her sword. I think you guys can probably guess where this goes. There's a lot of fucking that happens. The sword gets used. Some fucking with the sword. There's a whole bunch of that.
But Kamiri gets wounded. How does she get wounded?
How does she get wounded, Brian?
Oh God!
Oh, with the terrible dawn of death. That's how she gets wounded.
That is an accurate name.
That is a great name for it. Yes, she is bitter. She is bitter because she was done dirty. She was done very, very dirty. I agree that if there was an antagonist in this entire fucking series that I agreed with her motives, it's probably Kamiri.
If somebody donged me with the thong of death, I'd be killing people too. I don't know.
Oh yeah, absolutely and I can't fault her at all for this. I'm like, okay, that's fair.
So she actually grabs the same dong and goes back and does the same thing to the people that did it to her, right?
Yep.
So we
But
find out
point of death.
when, yeah, to the point of death. So when Miko comes in there, she sees everybody there. She's like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta go find Village Girl." Right?
Yeah.
Now,
Right.
one time does she go and say, "You know what? Let me call, or let me try some type of, 911." You know,
Right.
let me help out.
No.
They're in Japan.
No,
It's
no.
119.
Fair enough.
The point is, no,
Oh,
you're right.
emergency
And arguably, Kamiri is, I think she's the first antagonist to actually fuck her opponents to death.
Isn't it?
Where everybody else just fucks them to submission, Kamiri does take it to the next level and actually kill them. It is vengeance driven, but nevertheless. So there's that, just as a point of,
So
note.
this is when I realized something. I had a feeling inside of me. I'm like, I really don't understand this anime. And like 1 minute I'm aroused.
Right.
And then 1 minute I'm like, what the fuck am I watching?
That is ultimately the question. What the fuck were you? It all loops back to the original hentai episode we did. What the fuck did I just watch? And that was, this anime absolutely fits into that description. What the fuck did I just watch? Because you do say that to yourself several times throughout this 6-episode run.
Like, I could count.
Along with, why am I still watching it? That's another
Why
one.
am I still watching it? You're
Right.
like, yeah. It's because you can't. It's like a train wreck. You can't look away. It's like rubbernecking on the highway. You're passing a car accident. You're like, oh wow, they got fucked up. Like that. It's that. But as an anime, you're watching this train derail, and you're just like, you have no choice but to just continue to watch it derail. It
So you
just
can't
gets
help yourself.
crazier.
There are certain things I don't think should ever be animated.
And a lot of them are in this.
A lot.
Let's we're trucking along. Let's do some rapid fire stuff. There are more characters introduced as this anime goes on. There's Yaku, the big titty werewolf. There's Fubuki Kai, the rival sex ninja. There's the RoboCop.
Surprisingly, I was able to bring up their names right before they showed up. It's like, isn't Yaku supposed to be showing up? It's like, I haven't watched this since like in about 20-something years. And yet, Miko, Yaku, and Fubuki were names that just came to me instantly right before the names popped up on screen.
And there's one thing that happens with a lot of characters in this. Fubuki, not really a lot. I guess never retract that statement. It happens with Fubuki is the I'm your rival, but I end up being your ally kind of situation. It's a common trope in a lot of anime.
How did she become her rival? I mean, how did she become her friend?
She tried to fuck her. She tried to fuck her father.
Well, she did.
Yeah.
She did. She ain't try.
She didn't try.
That's true.
She did.
She did succeed. You are right. She did succeed.
To the shock of the father.
She had to do a lot of breathing exercises, but she got through it.
To the
And
shock of the father too, because he was like, "Whoa."
Yeah. Like, alrighty then.
I gotta bring up.
I mean, even the father, even the
scariest-
wife was like, "All right, good on you. Go ahead, keep going."
Yeah, respect. Yeah.
I have to bring up scariest jutsu I heard of at this moment. The 4,000-year-old Chinese hell of women's pain.
Yes, that's right. That was in that was episode 3, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, if was a jutsu, because basically what she's doing is she just vibrates. She does
Right.
That's basically what that was.
That's a great way to look at it. Yeah. Horrible. I mean, really.
This gives a whole new definition to the word Hokage.
Go on. If it weren't a comedy, I would have hesitated to revisit this. Just because there is so much There's so much that's just not okay. There's just so much that's just not okay. There's so much rape. There's so much sexual abuse. There's so much torture. There's so much about this that if it were not intentionally a comedy, I would have just been like, you know what, we don't need to cover it. But alas, it is a comedy, and it does take itself as such. So I felt like we had to give it a fair shake. And I don't, it was, I do feel bad that we didn't prep you better on that, but yeah. It continues on. And every episode, it's very formulaic in one sense. Every episode, she's got to diddle or fiddle. She's got to go to the demon realm for something else. She's got to fight another antagonist. And by fight, we do mean fuck. Another antagonist, and try and overcome, unintended, them. And it's not like it's boring. It's far from boring. It's so crazy you can't look away.
It's a little over the top.
It's a lot. It's over the top. That's a great way to describe it. It's over the top. And you watch that first episode and you're like, fuck, all right, let's see what this is going to do. And then you watch the second episode, like, oh, sweet Jesus. All right, how much crazier could this possibly get? And you watch the third episode, you're like, oh, wow, okay, this got violent and dark, okay. And then you go to episode 4, and all of a sudden there's a new friend. The Yaku shows up, and you're like, it's Yaku. Okay, they're friends apparently. Okay, she's the big titty friend. That's her whole thing. And oh wait, no, she's not just the big titty friend. She's a big titty werewolf friend. And you're like, okay, this is just getting crazier and crazier. What could we do? And then you get rival sex ninja. Hey, I got a clitoral penis as well. This is, we're going to do this. And she bests Miko at every turn. And you're like, oh my God, this fucking anime just doesn't stop. And then you get to episode 6. And episode 6 with the fucking cyborg sex bots who dream of Nookie. I don't know how to best describe this.
Oh, I can.
Yeah.
So apparently we're given this little tidbit. We've learned about Earth and the Shikima.
Right.
But there's 3,000 of them.
Yeah.
There are 3,000 realms.
3,000 realms.
And in 2 of the 3,000, they are horny.
And,
it's all about
statistically, that tracks.
That's right. That tracks.
I'm sure any physicist would agree with you. So, yeah. No, you're not. That's right. There's, oh my gosh.
So they come back to the Shikima realm, and the same demons from episode 1 and 2, they're still there.
They are.
I thought they did a great job of continuity on this one.
I feel like that was, I want to give them credit for continuity, but I feel like that was just lax creature design. It's just like, we can
only draw dicks so many ways.
It's like, we have any of that unused footage from episode 1? Let's use them now.
We only got so many demons here. Let's see, we can't afford any more demons. Let's just reuse these guys. But let's give them the continuity win, Brian. We're gonna give it to them. We'll give it to them. It's because the anime is a comedy. Again, I know I said it before, but because the anime is a comedy, you're willing to overlook a lot of the more questionable things about it. Excessive amounts of rape, excessive amounts of violence towards women, things like that. Because the character Miko knows what she's getting into. Like, she knowingly and willingly submits herself to this world, and because of that, you're invited, basically, to go on this journey.
You're along for the ride.
Yeah, you're along for the ride. A ride that she knows full well she's on, so it makes it, I struggle to say less horrible than like Yorotsuki Doji, which is just straight up aggressive towards women. Like, this is aggressive towards women. Arguably, the women are doing doing a lot in this. But there's a lot. It's a very rapey anime. It's the best way I can describe it. It's a very rapey anime.
Even the consent, but the consent is somehow is actually explicit than whatever consent they have.
Right. It again, Miko knows she is going to this place. There will be fucking. Like it is a situation she is fully aware of. This is gonna happen to her.
I'm talking about like Frank, Yaku and Hotel Sun guy.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. That's, right. Yeah. Perfectly consensual engagement.
Even when Miko's sister, who you never hear from a fucking again.
After what, episode 2? Like she's done. Yeah.
She was falling in love with Riki Tiki Tavi.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. She wanted him. She wanted it. She was all into it. Again, yeah, there's a lot of that in this, in that sense of like they know where they are. Like they know what they're up to. And these characters. And again, I defend this as from being like as bad as Yorotsuki Doji, because these characters, these female leads, they're in control. All of them. Like, they really do. They take control of the situation. They use their sexuality as a weapon because that's what they're trained to do. They're trained to use their sexuality as a weapon, and they do that a lot. That's the whole
to the point where they turn it, oh, you think you have me. I actually have you fall into my trap.
Right. And that's why this is arguably why I find this to be a far better anime than Yorotsuki Doji, because the level of disgust that I might have felt for Yorotsuki Doji is lessened here, because A, it's a comedy, and B, these girls are running the show. You know, they understand their situation. They accept like this is a choice that they've all made. Fubuki wants this more than anything. Fubuki's like, I am going to be the best bitch there is. I'm gonna fuck everything that moves. I'm gonna rule this place. And she's, she's awesome at it. Yaku, she knows she knows what she's got, and she uses it. She uses her body as a weapon, as all the girls do in this. And so it's less cringy. God help me, it's less cringy than Yorotsuki Doji.
But we're just talking about the difference between popping a zit and eating it and licking a zit. It's still cringy. Which one do you just not want to do? If you pop that zit and then you lick it afterwards, that's Yorotsuki Doji.
Jesus Christ, it's a disgusting analogy.
I feel like it's important to note this, because it's hentai hentai has evolved a lot over the years. But back then, back in the 90s, it was violent, it was aggressive, it was very rapey, it was a dark place. And it was like animating the darkest, innermost demons of men and turning it into something, and into a medium. And
that's actually a very good point, because one of the things I looked up was the Freudian consequences of something like Le Blue Girl.
Okay.
Right. So basically, there's an article out where a lady is actually, when she first hears about the Blue Girls back in 2000, right? And she's in college, and somebody said something about the Blue Girl, and everybody starts laughing. And she's like, what's the Blue Girl? And they started laughing at her, like, oh, you don't know? Like, it was a deep kept secret. We can see that happen all the time.
Absolutely.
Where you're saying something, boom, it happened. So she did her research, which took a lot longer for her to do, because again, in the 2000s, so she's Googling and Ask Jeeves and whatnot.
Right.
And she finally comes across it. And she was saying that for as much as the rape that happens in here, there are also consequences of those rape that happens to these demons.
Also true.
Right. So they're saying that if the biggest crime is rape, then the punishment for that kind is castration.
Mm-hmm.
And you see that happen a lot here.
It's
and
true.
she actually gives that, I want to say, nod
Mm-hmm.
to say that, listen, yeah, you can rape all you want, but eventually you're going to get your dick cut off.
Fair?
So it doesn't excuse it at all.
No.
It
No,
doesn't
no.
excuse it at all, but it definitely lets you know that deep down,
Right.
the director, the writer, is that, you know what, if you're raping people, it's bad. It's so bad you should lose everything.
Yeah, because absolutely. And because this doesn't take itself seriously, and it is a comedy. And I keep saying it's a comedy because it is a comedy. If you watch this, you will laugh at the absurdity of it. Because it is a comedy, because again, these characters are well aware of what's going on, and because of Brian, your point was really well put. It's a lot of it's forgiven, but this is an exception to the rule for a lot of hentai. So it uses this. I don't know. It's not apologetic about it. It's definitely not. It's an unapologetic anime, but it does turn the tables on hentai by being a parody of hentai, which is kind of an interesting twist on things.
So there's actually an interview with Toshio Maeda.
Yeah.
Right? And this is an interesting point. We're talking about the rape and stuff like that. He says,
right, because he made Yorotsuki Doji as well. So yeah.
Right. The American journalists have come to me and told me that my hentai scenes will corrupt American youth. Yeah, you still have very little gun control in America, and kids have access to it all the time. You see, in Japan, nothing happens. You can walk down the street in the middle of the night in a skimpy t-shirt and a miniskirt on, and nothing happens. But in America, it seems like all you really care about the human rights of anime and manga world. But you don't give a shit about real human rights, but you do all you can to judge and put down Japanese culture. I was like, fuck.
Shots fucking fired.
And
Shots
you know what?
fucking
It's
fired.
still a thing.
Yeah, it's still a thing. Admittedly, hentai has evolved a lot, and it is now a far more, I want to say, inclusive genre. There's you can get every flavor of hentai you want.
Yeah, it's not as underground as it used to be.
Right, and just like everything in the early '90s that was imported, it was all shock value stuff. So they wanted the most shocking things they could get to move the needle. So I give them credit there. I understand what they were doing. It's like they had to stand out.
And the simple fact that they were able to get the truly uncensored version, unlike some of the other shows where they had to play with some of the video to clean it up and whatnot.
Right. No, true.
I think we have to point out that not only saying the shock value and everything, but it does get better. We're really looking for consensual, and I would love to see if there was a consensual hentai. Is that what we call it? What hentai? Consensual hentai?
I mean, it's what we
check
call it.
All the boxes. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I mean those exist. They do.
They exist by the hundreds, if not thousands, Brian.
Yeah, they just didn't exist for us in the West because, again, shock value. We were this was. I mean, they were trying to get your attention, and
like
they sure as hell did.
TikTok over here and TikTok over there.
Right. But the thing of it is though, and it is not a fair judgment of hentai, regardless of the fact that Yorotsuki Doji is extremely violent towards women in horrible ways. It is not a fair judgment that hentai is corruptive in any capacity, because lots and lots of people have seen Yorotsuki Doji and have managed to go their whole lives without hurting a woman. It's pretty amazing, really. What can I tell you? Just like lots and lots of people can play Mortal Kombat and not want to rip someone's heart out.
They want to, but they haven't.
There's plenty.
That's a very important statement. I agree with Vic. I agree with Vic on that one. They want to, they just don't.
Because we all fucking know better.
Exactly.
And that's
it's truly hard to get through the ribcage. I'm just saying.
and this hentai, the little blue girl, specifically in its absurdity and in its the way it's written, and putting female characters in the more prominent roles, it does flip that script. But again, it's still rapey as shit. It's still hella rapey, as Brian pointed out, with consequences for the most part, So it's very indicative of the 90s and what we were getting as media. But Toshio's interview was right. I know we didn't do our usual thing where we break down every single episode and we really get into it. It's because it's kind of absurd, and it just continues to escalate. And really, I don't know have a better way to talk about each individual thing. I feel like the Blue Girl as a whole is its own unique thing that was to be discussed. I don't know. You guys tell me if I'm crazy, but Brian, you have more notes you wanna talk about?
Yes, I do.
Please do.
Let's talk about the physics of the queef.
I am so glad that is the first thing we're going to talk about after the last subject. Let's talk about that. I'm intrigued.
So, women can never find out that they have the power to mind control us with queefs. I don't think that's something we want them to know. So, Lynette, we need you to promise that you won't tell nobody.
I swear.
If y'all can see the sincerity on her face right now.
And Brian, why are you got to, for the listeners at home, why are we discussing queefs? Tell me.
Because this is actually a thing where you can queef and control a whole. It was the cybernetic ninjas, right?
It did it's like a pheromone release.
And no, it was the pheromone release was from Maria when she was trying to get those mouth demons to take her. Those mouth demons are.
I thought she took over control over that weird, hentai Pac-Man thing.
Yes,
hentai Pac-Man.
Yes, perfect. No notes.
No, I need that, and I need Andrea to make sure she puts the Pac-Man logo on that when she says hentai Pac-Man.
Like, pixelate the eyes.
Right.
All right. And then they said this one thing. She drips and drips with passion and still babbles on. Bruh.
That's Shakespeare, man. You can't even. How do you even address that? That should have been the tagline for the whole series.
That should have been the tagline. She drips and drips with passion and still babbles on. Can we talk about exactly how much moisture? I was actually worried about their health. I thought that they needed to have at least have a bottle of water or
you mean a gallon?
Yeah, just have it right there. They never
There's so much just fluid, just so much fluid of every kind in this. There's so much fluid. Like you just can't quantify it. Really, like you could bury the Titanic, with the amount of fluid. It's terrible. And no lube in sight.
I don't think that's the way that fluid works, though. I'm pretty sure.
No, I'm pretty sure that's not. I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure that's not how any of that works.
I'm not a gynecologist, but I'll take a look. But I don't think that's the way.
It's definitely not how it works. Oh, good Lord. Guys, let's start wrapping it up, shall we?
I
feel like I know we've we didn't get too much into the details on that, but we were painting with a broader brush. The Blue Girl's a lot to talk about, and to really break down the details, we could do almost an episode per episode.
Right.
Let's go ahead and break it down. I'm going to start with Vic. Vic, you were privy to this back in the day, in the 90s when this came out.
Yes.
Before the internet, so to speak.
Way to age us.
Yeah, dude, it's been happening to me more and more.
Yeah, I know.
So go ahead and take us out of the gate, man. So the Blue Girl then versus the Blue Girl now,
Okay.
The more important question is, how much lotion did you go through in the 90s, and how much lotion did you go through now?
I have the self-control of a monk. In the 90s, being that, everyone was home, not going to risk it. And now it's like, again, self-control of a monk.
Fantastic.
I was just watching to see how absurd it would get. I just want to bring up just a couple of things about it first. So,
please.
It took me forever to find, information on Dreamy Express Zone, which was the label that published it, which actually was just the adult label for Dai film, DAI
right.
film.
Yeah.
And out of 13 titles that they released before being merged into Kadokawa Corporation, which blows my mind that Kadokawa owns the Blue Girl.
Why is that so shocking?
Kadokawa has their fingers in all types of media. That's why it's shocking. Not just porn, but everything.
Can you give us some examples of something that we would know?
Oh my God, they distribute everything, but they own TV stations in Japan, acquire a video game studio. They own a majority of From Software. It's a lot. I've got the page right up, and it's like they own Engie, Europa Corp Japan, Glowvision, the Japan Film Fund, Kadokawa Anime, which does a ton of stuff, Kadokawa Architecture.
So what you're saying is Kadokawa Anime is pretty good, right?
Yeah. But back to Dai Film, I guess, like I said, their Dreamy Express Zone was used for their R and uprated type productions.
Okay.
But out of like 13 productions, you had a majority of them were hentai. You had some that were just R-rated stuff, similar to Wicked City, where you pushed the envelope. And then you had things like Pampoko for kids.
What?
Exactly.
So they
released one G-rated movie. They released an all-ages type series called Some Days Dreamers. And then there was another one, which I forgot which one it was already. But then everything else was like either rated, in the Japanese equivalent to an R to hentai.
Was Yorosuke Doji released from Dream Express?
No, that was another studio altogether. But it's it's just, this series was just insanely absurd, hilarious at times, but just it was hard to keep a straight face watching it, because some scenes was like, you were like, oh, and some scenes were like just bloody hilarious. And it's like, I don't know if it's something I can tell someone to watch or not to watch, because it like rides both sides of that.
Right.
So it's like, if you enjoy, I guess, the golden age of hentai, or if you enjoy just, absurdity of, people getting banged by monsters, but didn't like Yorosuke Doji, sure, why not? If you're like Brian and you want something romantic and consensual, you may have to start looking for stuff post 2000.
I will agree with that point definitively, yeah.
There is no definitive, yes, you should watch it, no, you shouldn't watch it, because this is something you can't blanket recommend to anyone. You have to know the person that you want to recommend it to. If you're a deviant, sure. If you're not a deviant, absolutely not. If you're hardcore religious, definitely not, because then you're going to hell in a handbasket. Beyond that, that's pretty much all I have to say on this. I don't know what to say about it. Besides everything else I just read.
I think you did great. All right, so Lynette, you had you didn't know anything about this going in, and we blindsided you with this. And again, I am sorry, but now I'm so much more intrigued. You got through all 6 of these, yeah?
It did. Each episode was a hold my beer. Like, I watched the first episode and went, it can't get any crazier. And episode 2 went, hold my beer. And I watched episode 2 and I said, no, they can't. There's nothing else now. And episode 3 went, oh yeah, hold my beer again. And then it was just
hold my sake
on the episode. Yeah, it was like every time it was like, oh, it can't get crazy. And it goes, challenge accepted. And it took it and then
here comes the new challenger.
And then I'm like, well, they've gotten all the other stuff. I don't know if they can get weird. And then they brought in episode 4. I was like, they can get weird. This got weird. It's official. This is weird. And then 5 is like, whoa, okay. Now we're stranger thinking this. It's okay. Fine. And episode 6, and I'm going to feel really bad. But this was the only thing that I could think of was if Playboy tried to do Transformers, and that was what was more than met the eye.
Bravo.
I was like, oh, this is what happened.
I figured it was more RoboCop and his horny friends, but
bravo.
Yeah, but dirty.
Bravo.
And you have robots, and I'm like, oh, more than yeah, there it is. That's what they meant. They didn't mean the other thing. They meant that.
Great. So do you think people should in this day and age be picking up a Blue Girl to check it out?
Only if they want to say that they were ones who watched it, because there are so many things that, that we've already said. It's an infamous one. It's like, it's one of those people you're like, I watched that. Yeah, I did see it. I didn't see the rerun. I didn't see the reaction videos of, like, it's not as bad as it, but it's kind of like, the difference between the people who watch the reaction videos of the people who watch Two Girls, One Cup and the ones who actually watch Two Girls, One Cup.
That's fair. That's fair.
Like, that's the difference, right? So,
Two Girls, One Cup, as a reference in this show, that's also a bingo for me. Thank you. I knew it was going to come up. I wasn't going to be one to say it, but there we go.
All right.
I think that would be what I would say, is if you want to be the one to say, yeah, I saw the Blue Girl. Okay, that's cool. Go watch it. But I'm not going to push it on anyone, because it pushes limits in other pieces. But thankfully it's a comedy, so it pushes it, but it pushes it in such a ridiculous fashion that you can kind of go, what? In a more confused voice than a mad voice,
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you can laugh and go, this shit's crazy. And it's just gonna keep going.
Just keep over it. So that's ridiculous. Yeah.
Cool. All right, Brian. You ready? Brian's ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to just go ahead and start off with, we have a new cocktail.
No. Emphasis on the wrong syllable. All right, go ahead.
It is, one, first of all, it goes good when you have it in a Weight Watchers cup. I think that's the best way to drink this one in terms of size.
Fair.
And let's go ahead and say, yeah. It's root beer and Kraken Gold. I call it tentacle porn.
Very nice.
You can call it tentacle grape. I'm pretty sure that's already trademarked. Actually,
very nice. Very nice, Brian. Very nice. I like it. I approve.
Yeah, I got nothing to say about this. Am I really gotta look at this as if do I want my daughters to watch it? Nah, because I want them to be, I'm to a point where I need to have a more romantic view with all the bullshit that we got going on. And I understand what he's saying. I understand that, look, you can't get mad at me for doing technical rape when you guys have little controls of so many things. The point is that it's all wrong. So you can't do one of those until you fix this. I'm gonna keep doing this.
Yeah, what aboutisms?
Yeah. We all
Yeah.
need to be taking the effort to be getting better with what we're making produce in our life. Do I say that you don't have to do a porno? No, but just show more of the piece of guy getting laid. That's romance. Show more of I don't have money to pay for my rent. What are you gonna do, Mr. Landlord? I have hope for that guy because I want to buy property. I mean, these are you know what I'm saying? This is it. But we're dealing with so much rape, so much impropriety that you can lose hope in thinking that, and you can lose hope with just feeling like there's more out there. I would love to see it, and as much as I love the design of the female form that they had, they do an excellent job in here, except for when they transform into the demonic personas. I want to touch them with a 10-foot pole, but Yaku, you could get it. I'll just have to make
Not
sure.
worth a fave.
Yeah, there will be no Twilight. I'm not Team Edward or Team Jacob, but she could get it. Fukubaki,
Kabuki?
her too.
I've heard it both ways, Gus.
Yeah, yeah, but her something about her hair. Her hair really messed with me.
Yeah. The blonde curls.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. So yeah, I'm done. I'm gonna go back to my drink.
So
Waiting on
I guess I'll wrap this up then. So look, the Blue Girl is it's a moment in animation history. It's probably the best way to describe it.
It's a
If you
moment.
want to be a part, if you want to be a part of that history, you go check this out. Does it hold up? I'm gonna say barely. It barely holds up, only because it's very self-aware and it's very tongue-in-cheek, and it's very leans into its absurdity very heavily. It does a good job at being absurd. It does a good job at shock value. It does a really good job at not victimizing the heroines as much, it still does it, but as much as some of the other hentai. So it is a moment in animation history, especially anime history for the West. And if you decide you want to be a part of that history, then yeah, find it and check it out. I can't say it's titillating, but it certainly tries. Every time you think you might get aroused,
They fuck it up.
yeah, a dick explodes or somebody gets sliced in half or some crazy shit happens and you go, you know what? Never mind.
Someone gets a pube in the eye.
Your boner like backs up. It's like, we're good. I'm gonna check out for a while. It's not that, but it is sexually humorous. So if that's your jam, and look, I am never gonna kink shame. There is every kind of kink out there. Some people, they're BDSM subs, doms. Hey, you guys rock. Have at it. There's sexual violence at play here, and it's arguably consensual because they are aware that they are going to partake in these sorts of things. As a comedy, it succeeds. It's funny. You're gonna laugh at it, but you're not gonna laugh with it, and I think that's the key. This is not an anime you will laugh with. It is an anime you will laugh at, and the jokes that they think land, they don't quite land. But the things that are really funny are the things that I almost argue they were probably trying to take seriously. So as a landmark piece of anime, there are some really great animated scenes. There are some really interesting story beats, so to speak, beat offs. It's nuts. It's a wild, wild ride. And if you decide to pick it up, you will join this panel and the many, many, many anime fans of the 90s who eventually did get a chance to watch Little Blue Girl. Experience is the best way to say. Experience Little Blue Girl in its entirety. And we haven't even really experienced it in its entirety because of all the spin-offs. And I can't believe this thing got fucking video games. I'm just saying. Like, this has games. Anyway. So, yeah, it's like everybody else said, recommending it is tricky because you can't say, hey, you know what you would like? You should watch Little Blue Girl. Like, that is not a conversation. The Little Blue Girl is the kind of anime that you need to be in a very intimate relationship with somebody before you even consider a recommendation.
Like seriously?
I wouldn't go that far.
Like, the people we want to recommend us to, you were worried about them already in life.
Right. So tread carefully with this. So yeah, ultimately, guys, you're going to have to decide whether or not you want to be a part of that club that has experienced Little Blue Girl. And then, move forward from there. So, folks, that's going to do it for our show today. So until next time, keep calm and remember that victory is simply a weaponized pubic hair away.
You've just been privy to the mindless midlife musings of the anime nerd, presented by Geek Grotto. For show notes and corrections, or for general geeky fun, you can visit our website at geek-grotto.com. If you're listening to us on your favorite podcast app, please like, follow, and subscribe.